Alright, guys, welcome back to your Doomsday Report. The Iran war is about to set off one of the biggest threats to the global economy today. And if you think the risk to US stocks is over, it's about to get nasty the longer things drag on. It's so crazy. I don't even have time to shave. I'm beginning to look like a homeless person. And over the last few days, we saw global markets sell off. And the worst hit were industrial economies in Asia that were heavily dependent on energy imports. Now, many countries buy oil and gas from the Middle East to run their industries. Now, South Korea is a great example, and their markets fell so hard, it fell so fast, they had to activate the circuit breakers. And until today, there's no indication that the war in Iran is going to end. We have so many conflicting reports that just sound ridiculous. The New York Times is saying that Iran made a secret outreach to the US waving the white flag, but how true is that? Meanwhile, with Hegseth telling the world that the US is just getting started, we could expect bigger and heavier hits coming from the American Navy.
More and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating. Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the hour, while American strength grows fiercer, smarter, and utterly dominant. More bombers and more fighters are arriving just today.
Now, does this sound like escalation or de-escalation? Sounds like Trump and friends are just getting started, which means the Iranians are going to squeeze the global oil markets even further. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is effectively paralyzed. Saudi and Qatari supply of oil and gas are compromised. So now the world is facing a shortage of 20% of global energy consumption. We cannot overstate how important Middle East supply is to the world. Together, they supply nearly 15% of global oil and gas. And when supply drops, it doesn't mean demand will adjust down. Demand is very inelastic because people, they still need power to keep the lights on. Factories still need to operate manufacturing plants. They have to keep churning out products or mass unemployment will soon follow. And one of the biggest dependents on Middle Eastern energy is actually Japan. And unlike other Asian countries, this is one powder keg that could set off a deadly domino effect. The level of risk here is extreme. Japan imports 90% of their energy needs from the global market. In fact, the majority of their oil comes from the Middle East, over 95%. Most of them comes from Saudi Arabia and the UAE. Both of these countries lies behind the Strait of Hormuz, which is effectively under Iranian control. So Japan's supply is getting hammered, and no matter where they turn, higher prices are coming for Tokyo. The problem is how interconnected global markets are with Japan. The government is already embarking on a risky spending plan to tackle the rising cost of living. That already threatens to keep borrowing high. And as rates in Japan rise, it threatens to break what is known as the yen carry trade. Now, investors within and without will start unwinding their borrowing. Even more liquidity or money could leave assets around the world, especially stocks and bonds within the United States. The Bank of Japan just issued a terrifying warning to the global economy. The Iran conflict could hammer Japan's economy thanks to the energy crisis, and that could cascade and trigger a massive sell-off in the markets. Ueda also laid out two outcomes of the Iran disaster for Japan. Higher oil prices are going to slow down the economy. It's the classic demand destruction scenario. Companies pay more for fuel, transportation costs more, and households spend more just to keep the lights on. Other parts of the economy suffer, and suddenly Japan is caught with their pants down. Demand weakens and companies start to collapse. The alternative is just as bad. If oil prices continue to rise long enough, inflationary pressures start to increase. Companies start raising prices and consumers will have to pay more and more. Either way, the Japanese government will have to step in, and either way they react, it's going to shock the global economy. Now, if the BOJ steps in and they tighten, interest rates will go up, the yen strengthens, and the carry trade would unwind in a hurry. Now, assets bought through borrowed yen could get liquidated and prices will tank. But if they don't, or the government spends more money on inflation support, which they are already doing, this could crater the yen even more. No country can tolerate a collapsing currency for long. The Japanese holds nearly 1.2 trillion worth of US bonds in reserves, and should things get desperate enough, they will sell dollars to buy back the yen. So additional pressure on both the treasury market and the USD might be coming. Considering the US is fighting a war and they need to borrow endless amounts of money, this won't bode well for Trump. Now imagine this crisis spreading through more energy dependent countries around the world. Even more treasury bonds could be dumped. We will be in a world of sticky high yields during an energy crisis, and these are the effects of a war. It's just nasty across the board. We can tell how dire this situation is with Trump and Bessent trying to give lame guarantees on the Strait of Hormuz about how the US will guarantee passageway through Navy escorts and insurance coverage. But even Scott Bessent himself probably doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it could work. Just listen to the uncertainty and quivering in his own voice.
Announcement that DFC will provide the insurance for both the crude carriers and the cargo ships operating in and around the Gulf over the weekend. Lloyd's of London nullified the insurance, so U.S. government is going to step in, and when it is appropriate and should it be needed, the U.S. Navy will provide safe passage through the straits for the oil tankers.
Now, the entire Trump administration is on deck, all hands on deck, trying to silence this war, that everything will be fine and that the oil will continue to flow. Even the Treasury Secretary is doing his song and dance. Bessent wants to convince us that Middle Eastern oil will reach the global markets. It's just jawboning. He's trying to bring down the price of energy using words. But US Navy escorts and the promise of insurance isn't enough. It won't prevent ships from sinking, and the cost will still fly to the moon. Very few captains of vessels will want to take that risk. Even today, 90% of oil traffic through the strait is down. Shipping through the Middle East have effectively collapsed. And should Iran start mining the strait, this could very well hit 100% for weeks and even for months. Countries like Japan will have to source elsewhere for the energy imports. Vessels will not willingly move through Hormuz under the threat of missile attacks. Even the price of shipping has gone bonkers. Now, on average, our oil supertanker earns 30 grand a day shipping oil. But if you want to haul crude cargoes from the Middle East to Asian destinations, the amount is ridiculous. You have to pay $500,000 a day. So now a 10-day voyage will cost you $5 million, and that amount is on top of the 10% spike in oil prices. This is why Middle Eastern cargoes have collapsed. Japan will have to find alternative suppliers. Now, whether they buy it from Southeast Asia or even Russia, prices will rise. And because of their extreme reliance on the Gulf, they probably have to pay extra to make up the shortfall in a hurry. Now, the duration of the war is extremely important. We're probably 2 to 3 weeks away from oil producers in the Gulf cutting production. So global oil supply could take another plunge and the energy shock could get worse. But it's still being waged full throttle. Now, despite the casualties and despite the financial cost, Trump still thinks he's winning. He's rating the war like he's rating a Hollywood movie. This is just literally insane.
And we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well. We have the greatest military in the world by far.
So the war is a 15 out of 10 to Trump. Sounds like he isn't going to stop. The Department of War is going pedal on the metal on this one. And if you think the economic pressure couldn't get worse, well, it just did. Even during the Iran war, Bessent just reminded the world that higher tariffs are coming. In other words, US consumers are going to get hammered further. Global exporters could see their shipments drop even further as well. Scott Bessent is preparing to raise the global baseline tariff to 15% this week. It was 10% before, but the US is going to hike this up because of the Supreme Court decision. And we don't know if it would ever hit back to 10%. Might happen by the end of 2026 or maybe not. Maybe Trump needs more revenue from US consumers to fund his war on Iran. Now, once again, no one's going to escape this disaster. American taxpayers, they're going to get clobbered. Bessent is desperate to raise money, and the Supreme Court decision is being twisted to let the administration extract even more money. For the next 150 days, the tariff could hit 15% to solve serious balance of payments deficits. Basically, the US is importing much more than they sell. And what do you expect? Now, with the war, the US will have to import more stuff to build munitions and missiles, all while the real manufacturing base continues to collapse. Bessent also admitted that a new rate is necessary. He needs a 15% tariff rate to ensure revenue doesn't drop, because if revenue collapses, then the shortfall will be made up by borrowing even more money. And this puts Trump in a very dangerous position. He is balancing a few realities all at once. He needs to borrow less money to prevent a bond meltdown, especially during a war. At the same time, he cannot allow a complete reversal of the tariffs, or the entire plan of reshoring will melt down as well. The world is already weary of US economic policy. It's just too uncertain. And the last thing they want to do is to trap their industries within the United States itself. If the US Supreme Court gives everyone an out, everyone is going to take the out. The inflation nightmare from Hormuz is already bad enough. Countries don't want to add massive unemployment to that mix. That is the risk when you ship factories and manufacturing jobs all the way to the US. Now, South Korea, Japan, and Europe, one can assume they are praying for an overturn of the tariff regime. Trump wants it to stay because the next step would seriously cripple the US national budget. Companies could start demanding tariff refunds from the Trump administration, and the US Treasury will be on the hook to refund tens of billions of dollars. The money collected from the IEEPA tariffs would have to be refunded. And how much is on the hook? It's over $130 billion. That's money the US doesn't have on hand. That's money being blown on a crazy war in the Middle East. And to refund the money, one could see Bessent issue more bonds to raise the cash. But investors will be extremely reluctant to play ball this time. So we are heading headlong towards yet another funding squeeze. There are of course multiple problems trying to borrow money in this landscape, in this hellscape. Investors, especially in the Middle East, they would be hesitant to lend Trump money. They will be effectively funding US foreign interventions. It's not just funding the tariff war, but supporting a physical war as well. Now, sure, Bessent can issue a ton of T-bills to make up the shortfall. He could most definitely issue $10 billion a month more. That would make up the lost tariff revenue. Hell, it won't even directly affect longer dated bonds in the short term. The 10-year won't suddenly spike up, but it would make the inflation problem even worse. Issuing a ton of T-bills is as good as injecting cash into the system here. You layer that on top of an energy crisis, you push Main Street to the breaking point. Something will have to give, consumers would eventually crack, and all that spending keeping things afloat would collapse. So keep an eye out for the 5% tariff increase. It sounds innocuous, but it's not. It's not a sign of strength, but a move of desperation. Now, Trump cannot afford for the tariffs to disappear and for the trade war to backfire. But let me know what you think. Will the oil crisis trigger a new shock from Japan? And will Bessent's tariff increase even work? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe as we navigate through these crazy times.